Hello and welcome to our 7th multi-cloud briefing. Great to have you join us. VMware is committed to supporting our customers at every steps in their journey to embrace what we call the cloud smart architecture, one that empowers our customers and their teams to navigate the complexity of today's multi-cloud world. And in this briefing, we'll explore this challenge, the challenge that companies face with multi-cloud management, specifically around managing cost, governance of applications and workloads running natively on public cloud and many times multiple public clouds. We will also discuss how we can help with our solution, brand new and exciting VMware Aria, part of our cross-cloud services portfolio. Now, why is management important to our customers? Because companies around the world have embraced multi-cloud. 83% of organizations use 2 or more clouds, as our research indicates today, and adoption rates continue to accelerate. And 73% have deployed cloud-native apps in the past 2 years. Now, all this is extremely good. However, it means higher cost and complexity for managing these applications. You'll hear more about the challenges, but more importantly, you'll hear about how VMware Aria addresses these challenges head-on. You'll see in this briefing a demo of several Aria services, and you'll also hear from one of our customers. But first, let me turn it over to Purnima, the GM of our portfolio, to talk about Aria and how it can truly change how you manage your multi-cloud infrastructure and applications. Enjoy the briefing.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. I'm Purnima Padmanabhan, and today we are going to talk about how VMware can help you manage your apps across multi-cloud environments. Management is about 4 main goals. First, control cost. Second, make sure your applications are performant. Third, make sure they are configured for security. And fourth, that you're able to deliver them at high speed and velocity that your developers need. Now, management across all these disciplines is important, but this can't be done in isolation. Each one area impacts the other. For example, if you are increasing scale for performance, you want to know the impact of cost. If you are changing your security configuration, you want to know the impact on performance. Now, management is hard enough with a single discipline across single cloud. And when you talk about multiple disciplines across multiple clouds, it becomes exponentially more complex. The second aspect of complexity is fundamentally cloud-native apps are disaggregated. Hundreds of services, thousands of containers, all in a tangled web of relationships. So answering simple questions, what is my app and how much does it cost to migrate from one cloud to the other or deploy to a third cloud, are very hard questions to solve and require you to integrate across disparate services, disparate sources of data, as well as many different tools and technologies. And we said, imagine if you could create a map of your multi-cloud universe, of your applications, all the dependencies, the endpoints. And then imagine if that model was federated so that we could pull in all the cost, metrics, and security information. Now, you can leverage the model to answer the questions such as cost-performance trade-off, performance security trade-offs, and so on, resulting in much more efficient management of your environments and therefore higher agility. That is what we call VMware Aria, a fundamentally new approach to managing your applications across multiple clouds. Now, anchoring VMware Aria, first of all, is VMware Aria Hub and Graph. Now, we took a page from the social media companies, just like the social media companies have modeled human relationships. Similarly, we have created a graph model of the multi-cloud universe with resources, relationships, and dependencies. Now, with this graph model, now we are able to answer questions that I previously stated. So core to Aria is this VMware Aria and VMware Aria graph that allows us to answer multi-discipline, multi-cloud questions. Now, on top of Aria Graph and Aria Hub, we built 3 main solutions aligned along the outcomes. Aria Cost integrates all capabilities so that you can do cost optimization. Aria Operations allows you to manage performance and availability of your applications. And Aria Automation allows you to manage config security and delivery of your applications. Further, because everything is on a single platform, we also are able to provide you with solutions that are cross-cutting, such as Aria Guardrails, that gives you the ability to understand your policies across cost, performance, and security across all clouds. Aria Migration, that allows you to do discovery of your environment, map it into applications, and then do the automation of the migration. And Aria Business Insights, that leverages AI ML technology to convert this volume of data and alerts into information by applying the application contexts. So, a lot of new things here. Why don't I turn it over to Chris McClanahan to show you more?
I'm going to show you a preview of current and upcoming functionality of VMware Aria Hub. Note that some of the functionality and user interfaces I will show will not be available until early 2023. Welcome to the home screen of VMware Aria Hub. The home screen is a fully customizable view of the things that are important to you in your environment. In this example, I'm looking at my favorite applications. I have an e-commerce application, an inventory management application, a customer billing, and a support application. I can see the aggregate cost and my security posture of this application, as well as great information around availability, MTTR, and other aspects of the applications that I have in focus. You'll also notice that we have business insights. Business insights are actionable insights that are bubbled up so you know what's important for you to look at about your applications in focus. In this example, we're looking at an inventory management application that has configuration violations. Let's click in to see what's going on. Now at the application view of Aria Hub, I can see aggregate information about my application. I can curate my application to make sure that we have all the resources about this application in focus. And then I can see great information about performance, like availability and cost. If I click into a resource of this application, I can also see great information about relationships, such as the image that was used or any security groups, as well as performance information, such as memory utilization, cost information, delivery information about how and when it was deployed and who owns this particular resource, as well as security configuration to understand how my security posture is for this individual resource. If I click back to the application view at an aggregate, we came here because we had an insight about some configuration violations. If we click into the insight, I'm taken to our Guardrails service. Guardrails is a policy as code continuous enforcement policy engine. You'll see here I'm at the application focus that I clicked in from, and I've got 4 violations coming from different sources. In this example, I have EKS clusters that are not attached to Tanzu Mission Control that were discovered by Aria Hub. If I click into the policy, you'll see that I have a full policy as code definition, and that we can then enforce these EKS clusters to become a part of Tanzu Mission Control for Kubernetes policy. With Guardrails, we provide a library of already created templates for things like building landing zones within public clouds, cost, network, performance, configuration, and security. We will provide base templates that then you can customize to make sure that you are setting policy appropriately for your public cloud environments. If I go back into my e-commerce account, you'll see that I have these violations that are coming from the different sources. I can quickly remediate all the violations, and then I can ensure that my application is in the best state for running and achieving my business goals. Back at the home screen of Aria Hub, I'm going to switch focus a little bit towards an infrastructure administrator. Here I can see all the environments I have within my organization, where they're located, great information around MTTR, cost, availability, as well as we can even do things such as green scores for carbon footprint. Now, if I want to explore the inventory within all of my environments, I can come to our Search and Explore area and see all of the different environments that I have plumbed into the system. If I want to click here as an example into my VMC on AWS environments, I can see all of the SDDCs that I have. I can click within an SDDC, then into a cluster, then down to a host level. And at every level, I can see different information around things like memory utilization, as well as cost, delivery, and security configuration. If I click into a VM in this particular host, I can then see information specific about this object, again, such as CPU demand, as well as delivery information to understand who deployed this, what application it's associated, and how long it's been up. Now that I've got a great view into my environment, what about migrating workloads into VMC on AWS? I can do this with the migration service. The Aria migration service allows us to scope, assess, plan, and execute a migration from an on-premises environment to VMC on AWS. By scoping the environment, I can remove workloads that I do not want to have as a part of the migration. In this example, grouped by VLANs, I'm removing VLANs that have a high or medium storage requirement. I can exclude those from scope and then select into a specific VLAN to see if there were any workloads or VLANs that are associated to this particular VLAN in scope that may have dependencies. I can then add or remove those VLANs into or excluding them from the scope of the migration assessment. I can then calculate the total cost of ownership of this particular migration set and see the number of hosts that it would take, as well as total core, memory, and storage, as well as potential cost savings that I could achieve. I can then save the assessment and see a great overview of the assessment that I can then share with leadership. Once I'm ready to go, I can start the planning process. Here, we will analyze all of the workloads and break them down into bundles. I can select on one of the bundles and start to plan it in 4 easy steps. First, going through an approval process, then selecting which landing zone or SDDC that I would like to migrate these workloads to. Then I can edit the migration pipeline that we will create for you to add business steps that you might need in order to successfully execute the migration. And then I can schedule this migration against your maintenance windows across as many days as you need to achieve your business outcomes. I can then save the plan, and then I can migrate this bundle. In the beginning, during, and when the migration is complete, I will have full visibility of the execution of the migration, and then I can see the benefits of migrating these workloads from on-premises to VMC through the Aria family portfolio of services. I hope you've enjoyed this preview of the new VMware Aria Hub multi-cloud management platform. I would also like to make you aware of the free tier of VMware Aria Hub that will allow you to get a great taste of the capabilities of this new amazing platform. Now let's hear from a VMware customer.
Hi, Johan Marais here. I'm a Senior Platform Services Manager at Discovery. Discovery is a South African-based company that is founded here, but operating across the globe in healthcare, life insurance, short-term insurance, banking, and wellness areas. We are pioneering a business model that incentivizes people to be healthier while enhancing and protecting their lives. Today, we operate across 4 of the hyperscalers, including our own on-prem data centers. That spreads across 16 different data centers and regions as well. Every platform has its own unique set of challenges, metrics to conform to, the interfaces are different, and they don't have a common CLI that we could consume. The evolution of multi-cloud management for us, and we saw this at scale, was also trying to tie things together and having a holistic view, almost that single throat to choke concept. How do we do this at scale, and how do we provide the best possible services? So traditionally, managing them in silos is not really a fit for purpose for our model. Back in 2012, when we started our public cloud journey, we knew there's a few things we had to change. One of the obvious things that we had to solve for was how do we get a handle on the cost in the public cloud space. The models are very different from the on-prem to the public cloud space. In our world, it was CapEx versus OpEx. So we had to find a solution that enables us to manage cloud cost and on-prem cost at scale. The problem for us was we focused so much on the cost that we actually didn't find solutions that enable us, for the operational perspective, to solve the day-to-day operational aspects of the public cloud and the multi-cloud era. So we saw over time that we didn't have a full handle or full control over all these aspects, and now we're playing catch-up. VMware Cloud Health was well positioned to help us enable that true visibility across multiple cloud environments, to visualize our cost, be able to share it with our customers as well, so that we can make the right choices for our workload placement at any given time. More recently, we added the capabilities for VRaaS automation, or now known as Aria automation, to enable self-service across multiple public cloud environments. Our customers needed one entry point to self-service for any request that they might need, and instead of having to go to multiple cloud providers. VMware recently announced some new tooling that I truly believe will make an impact to our operating model. Aria Hub allows us to have that single pane of glass. It allows us to bring together the monitoring aspects, the cost aspects, as well as the asset part of things in a single view, and then from there reach out to different aspects of the platform. Aria Graph that underpins all of this is an extremely powerful capability from a query language perspective. Now, for us as a team that are embracing the DevOps world, doing things in code is becoming second nature. And again, here the platform will enable us to do more with less, because we can do what we do best in having a single entry point in managing multiple cloud environments. We have a lot to learn still, but I'm truly excited for what lies ahead for our team.
So cloud management doesn't exist in a vacuum. If you want to have an effective multi-cloud strategy, you need multi-cloud management, multi-cloud networking, multi-cloud security, consistent infrastructure. So to tell you more about our cross-cloud services, I'd like to bring in Vittorio Viarengo, our head of our cross-cloud solutions.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. As you know, 75% of our customers use two or more clouds, whether it's private cloud, Azure and AWS, and so on and so forth. And clearly, this creates an environment that allows them to go very fast. But over time, creates complexity and cost, because you have to learn multiple management tools, multiple way of building application. And so at VMware, we've seen this problem coming years ago, and so we created VMware Cross-Cloud Services, which is a portfolio of cloud-native services to build, manage, run, secure, and access any application across any cloud.
Well, that's fantastic, Vittorio. So how does it benefit a customer, all these services?
One way I like to think about it is using an analogy to the past. In the past, with virtualization, we made all sorts of different servers and storage and networks all look the same, so that our customers can pool the resources and move fast. In the cloud, that layer is taken, right? It's taken by the hyperscalers for the most part. And so what we did with VMware Cross-Cloud Services was to create a level of abstraction that simplifies the environment, does the same thing, allows customers to see all these clouds as one, and then use whatever clouds they need for the application, depending on the application requirements.
No, that's great. And one of the characteristics of this abstraction is we were able to abstract it without taking away the power of these individual clouds that you're talking about.
And that's a misconception that sometimes people have with this, right? If you're abstracting, are you hiding the underlying characteristic of the clouds? And that couldn't be further true. In fact, you can do both. You can abstract and factor out the common things, so you can simplify the environment and go fast. But at the same time, nobody prevents you to use the underlying APIs. For example, if you're using Google and you use Google for the ML capabilities, or you're using Azure for the SQL capability, you can still access those, no problem. But given that I'm here with you, I like to ask you, when we talk, let's make abstractions real.
Yeah.
How does Aria and the common object model help with abstraction and help manage multiple clouds?
Good one. And especially, how do we abstract without giving up the power of the clouds, right?
Yeah.
You talked about it. So you may be using AI, ML in Google, you may be using data services in Azure, and you may be using compute services in AWS. It doesn't matter. But ultimately, irrespective of which serviceware you're using, the disciplines of management are the same. You want to know the cost. You don't care which services you're using. You use them directly, but you want to aggregate cost. You want to understand a holistic perspective of what is the performance of your application, irrespective of which service it's using. You want to make sure all these environments are configured correctly and securely, right? And you don't want to have to go into 5 different tools to configure them. So you're not losing any of the value of the services, but you're managing them in a consistent way. And that's the power of abstraction that we have done with Aria Graph, right? A model of your application and the associated dependencies with the services.
Yes, management is the poster child for the needs of a multi-cloud world. But tell us what's new and exciting about Aria.
Aria is anchored by this Aria Graph and Aria Hub technology that is net new. Allows us to tie both VMware solutions as well as third-party solutions into that single pane. We've got powerful set of management capabilities with VMware vRealize, our cloud health portfolio, our Tanzu observability portfolio. So all these management solutions feed into Aria Graph, and they in turn enrich Aria Graph and become richer with the data from Aria.
So tremendous innovation, but also the familiarity of the tools that our customers already know.
Exactly. So if you're already using vRealize, now you are able to expand your capability set.
So in the cloud, if you are a small vendor that is providing a point solution and now they want to provide the solution across multiple clouds, how do they plug into the Aria model?
Oh, that's an excellent point, right? One of the key guiding principles for us in Aria was we are not an island. And you can't yet again build a monolithic system. So fundamentally, Aria Graph is a highly scalable, near real-time system, but it's also a federated model, which means not only can I get data from my existing management tools and make it part of Aria family, but I can also federate data from any other third-party tools. So if I'm a vendor or if I'm a customer who has other solutions, which is always the case, I don't have to throw them out. I'm not doing a rip and replace. I'm taking that valuable data, putting it all together with Aria Graph so that I can ultimately solve that question you're asking. The question you're asking may need data from a different source. Cost data might be sitting somewhere else. Great. How can I federate that and solve your problem?
So at VMware, when we look at this market, we either see point solution that work across multiple clouds, or we see platform players like the hyperscaler that work well on one cloud. So what is the main differentiator for Aria?
Well, there are others also who are doing management. Hyperscalers have built management solutions for their own clouds. While they do support other clouds, it's deep for their specific clouds. Then there are point players who build across all clouds, but for a given discipline, cost, observability, security, and so on. But really, there's no one who's saying we'll bring it together in a common federated way so that we can answer the questions I teed up earlier. And that is what we're uniquely doing in the market with Aria, and especially Aria Graph and Hub.
And this differentiation applies to all VMware cross-cloud services, because we believe we are the only company that has the vision, the DNA, and the engineering resources to bring a platform approach that spans from developing application, managing infrastructure, security, and end user access that works consistently across all clouds.
Indeed.
So now that we got customers and prospects excited about Aria, so what's available today and how they get started?
So the core new components, which is Aria Graph and Aria Hub, will be initially available in Q4,
okay,
as well as some of the cross-cutting solutions that I talked about, which is Aria Guardrails. And we'll also have Aria Migration and Aria Business Insights in a tech preview. In addition, we have launched a freemium service for Aria that allows you to simply just attach a public cloud account, and we would create that map of your multi-cloud universe and give you some ideas of what a cost and security look like so that you get an idea of how Aria might help you. And then, of course, all our current management solutions now are enhanced by Aria. So you still have vRealize solutions that are now rolled into Aria by connecting and pouring into Aria Hub and Graph. Similarly, Cloud Health, and similarly, Tanzu Observability. Thank you, Vittorio, for joining and sharing about cross-cloud services. And thanks, everyone, for joining us today.
We hope you found this multi-cloud briefing informative and valuable. The end-to-end visibility, governance, and control that VMware Aria provides means that you can now confidently make data-driven management decisions that balance cost, performance, configuration, and app delivery factors together. For you, this means optimizing your business and freeing you to deliver greater value to your customers, which is the foundation of a digital smart business on a path to becoming cloud smart. To learn more and get started with VMware Aria, follow the link below. Thank you again for joining us. Until next time.